Hey, this is RJ Mini, and you're watching Mr. Mario 2011.
Hey, so what is going on, everyone? It is me, Mr. Mario, and today I'm going to be bringing you an unboxing because we're at my table right here. Now, normally, when I'm at my table, as I said, I either do an unboxing or I do a tutorial of some kind. We're going to be doing the first one there. And what am I unboxing? Well, first off, I need to show you my new toy. I ended up getting a Sega Saturn here recently. I actually got it at the very end of my last day. It was my last day of spring break, and I ended up picking this thing up. I got it for quite cheap as well because the store I bought it from only had the console and the power cable, so I had to they end up offsetting the cost and then took a few more dollars off, but I ordered a controller and a AV cable myself. Pro tip, actually, if you are a Sega collector or anything and you have not had a Saturn, it uses different controller ports than the Genesis or the Mega Drive, and it uses a different AV cable. Although it looks the same, it uses a different AV cable compared to the Genesis or the Mega Drive. Genesis in the US and the Mega Drive all around the world. So anyways, this thing is not in the best of shape, of course. I mean, it has some scuffs here and there. And, you know, it wasn't a lot worse condition, but I think I did a pretty decent job cleaning. I got to flex my, old game store skills and, clean up the system real well and everything. I still have a bit more to clean up on it, but, it looks a lot better than what it did before. It was all, like, dusty and grimy and all that when I first got it. But anyways, I'm not showing you just the system. We're going to go ahead, put it over to the side here because it is related to the Saturn, but I'm going to be bringing you an unboxing of some stuff that I got off SegaStyle.com. This is actually a website where they have older hardware and all that, and it's always harder to find older modding hardware, as the years go by. Like, for example, it's a bit harder to find PS1 mod chips, things like that, and the Sega Saturn. Fun fact, the Sega Saturn is actually the only CD-based Sega system that requires a mod chip to play CDR backups. The Sega CD, you just burned a game and that was it. The Sega Dreamcast, you could either use the Utopia boot disk and swap, or later on down the road, pretty much all games came in CDI formats, which were self-booting. So again, you could pretty much burn a disc and play it. But the Sega Saturn, you can, I'm going to get into the other box here because there's two things from here, but essentially you need a mod chip to play backup games. Yes, you can do the swap trick, but to do one-shot boot, you need to have a mod chip. So that is what we're going to be doing with this thing right here. So as I said, I ordered these from Sega Style. I just looked up Sega Saturn Modchip. I found this online, and they have a pretty cool store and all that. And I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but I have been talking with the owner as well too. He seems like a really great guy and all that. And he was just happy that people are still modding up these old systems. So I went ahead, I bought two things for it. I did splurge a little bit, but you know what? I want to kind of do everything I can to this Saturn right here, at least internally. So first thing we're getting right here is the Universal V3 Pcb Mod Chip. Now, this thing, let's go ahead, open it up right here. You have these two little things right here, which I'm trying to think of the name, these two connectors, and essentially you kind of use the mod chip as a pass-through. I'll show you all how it works. So let's see, attention, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's go ahead, take this thing out right here. Okay. And I'll go ahead and kind of focus in on this a little bit if I'm able to. There we go. All right, so as you can see, it's just a little thing right here. That's all there is to it. There's really not that much to it. And there is this piece of wire that is soldered onto it. This is supposed to be the power cable. So I'll go ahead, gently unwrap this. And it is just, oh wow, that is just a big glob of solder. But that is just soldered onto the power right there. So essentially, oh, it has a little bit of dust on. No, that's not dust. Okay, I thought it was dust, but it's not. But yeah, this is it right here. So depending on if you have a Model 1 or a Model 2 Sega Saturn, I have a Model 2 right here. Depending on which one you have, you need to use either of these two sets of connectors. And essentially what you have to do is pretty much run it through. One part goes from the CD drive to the mod chip, the other goes from the mod chip to the motherboard. So essentially it passes everything through and, strips off any type of, protection that it has against, anti-backups or anything like that. Now the mod chip itself, it is pricey. This is a universal mod chip, so it works on every single Saturn available. So you don't have to differentiate between a Model 1, Model 2, whatever it is. It works on all the Saturns. And it was $39, and I paid $1 to have this wire soldered onto it. So, I mean, I just did it for convenience, really, but if you really want to save that extra dollar and you have, you know, some wrapping wire around, it's all good. So you have that right there. That's really all there is to that. Not too much to show, but I've always wanted to mod a Saturn, honestly, you know, just for the sake of modding it. So we're going to go ahead and put that over to the side, and these are the little connectors. As I was saying, these are the connectors that you have to use to, let me focus in right there if I can. But yeah, these are the connectors that you have to use to run everything from the CD drive to the motherboard and all that other stuff. So go ahead and put that to the side as well. I'll go ahead and put that just on the bubble wrap there. And then the second thing, I'm actually pretty excited about this because this is a whole brand new item that I get to unbox. The Action Replay Plus, suitable for the Sega Saturn, 4M auto, all that stuff. So this is the Action Replay. It's now a 3-in-1 card, although there are some different things that you can do with it. Essentially, this is what it is. For anybody that does not know how the Sega Saturn works, I believe the Sega Saturn has 1 megabyte of onboard RAM, and it has some memory in there, but the memory is controlled by a battery in the back, which I might need to replace on that thing. I'm not 100% sure, but essentially it has this right here, which this looks like, you know, you can play cartridges in it. Not so much, actually. This is for a expansion device. Now, they do sell devices that, just like this, that are expansions on memory. So you can get a memory expander or a storage expander, because the storage can be for your game saves, memory will be for the RAM, obviously. It's a lot like the expansion pack for the Nintendo 64, just essentially the same thing. However, it gets kind of complicated. In the US, there was the 1 megabyte expansion of memory released, and several games do utilize it, but there are also some games, mostly Japanese titles, that handle 4 megabytes. They will play better and they'll have more features on it if you have an extra 4 megabytes of RAM. So that is what this does. It automatically selects, you know, what it's going to be. So essentially, if a game utilizes 1 megabyte of extra RAM, it goes to the 1 megabyte mode. If it utilizes 4 megabytes of RAM, it'll automatically shift over to the 4 megabyte mode. So you have a 1 megabyte, a 4 megabyte expansion. You also have, as you see right here, the 4 megabyte memory card as well. So it adds on 4 megabytes of memory. There's an action replay in this as well too. So, you know, you're able to use your cheats, things like this. This was about $30, $35, something. I think it was 30. And then another thing, if you install a mod chip in your Sega Saturn, it is still region locked, is the crazy thing. Yeah, I know, it's weird. That's normally what mod chips circumvent. But no, it is still region locked. However, if you have one of these right here, the Action Replay, it's supposed to be 4-in-1, but essentially it doesn't have the COM port, so it's still a 4-in-1 even though it says 3-in-1. If you have one of these right here, you could actually make your Sega Saturn region free, so it will play games from Europe and Japan if you have a US system like I do right here, which is pretty neat. So essentially, if you ever want to play any imported titles, you don't even have to modify your system in any way. You just need to get one of these, you pop it into the top right here, and that's it. But anyways, let's go ahead. Look at this, all that. Sega Saturn 4M Auto Action Replay Plus. Says the same thing on all the sides. Yep, right there. Let's look at the bottom. Suitable for the Sega Saturn system. 3-in-1 Action Replay plus 4 meg memory card. 1 and 4 meg expansion RAM card is equal to the Action Replay plus 4M. So Action Replay, build in near 100 game codes. Very nice English. Allows saving of new game codes. 4 megabyte memory card, 1 to 4 megabyte expansion RAM card, and allow US, Jap, your games to be run on all versions of the Sega Saturn, as I said right there. So you have the ultimate memory expansion, you have more storage expansion as well too. You have storage as well. If your battery ever dies on your Sega Saturn, you can save to the card right here, and you can turn your system into region-free system, which is what I like. So we're gonna go ahead, unbox this right here, open it up. Oh, there's this right here too. Function. Oh, and this is pretty much they printed this onto toilet paper essentially. All right, so let's see. Notes: to play the 1.4 expansion RAM card compatible games, simply plug in the card before boot up and select start game. The interface of the Action Replay function is just the same as common Action Replay cards. For details, all that stuff. It has a guide right here, yada yada yada. Okay. So you have your memory manager, functions, all that good stuff. And then right here we have the actual card. This actually looks like a game itself, which is funny, and it says it's past QA and everything. So let's see, what type of screws does it use? Those are Phillips. Okay, those are Phillips head screws. And yeah, just kind of fits in my hand as well too. And then you just take it, if it goes in. Oh, that did not sound good. That sounded menacing. Like exploded. Let me try that again. Take this, you pop it in. There we go, that's better. Okay, so you just pop it into the top right there, and then you install this mod chip internally into the system, and bam, you have a system that can play CDR backups. It has cheats, it has all the expansion available, it has all the storage available, and it's region free. So essentially with these two right here, I am kind of building, you know, the Cadillac of Sega Saturns right here. Just I wanted everything that I could put into a Saturn right here, but I didn't want to do any crazy, you know, changes to the actual cosmetics of the system. Like, you know, like people will do, you know, like not fiberglass, but they'll do, you know, like see-through windows and all. You actually have a see-through window here, but I don't like repainting old systems, anything like that. That doesn't mean I'm never going to do it, but just for this one, I want it to be all stock. I want it to look nice and everything. And the only thing is, I kind of wish this was black because then it just doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. I could at least remove it when not using it, but essentially, you know, as I said, I'm just going to have this in all the time, and I'm going to have the mod chip installed, and we'll be good to go. Now, the only thing is, I still have not tested this system yet, so what I'm going to do, if you all are watching this video, that means the system works. Because I don't want to upload all this stuff and then, you know, do the unboxing, all that, and then the system doesn't work, you know, because then I'm not going to have anything to use it with. So if you're seeing this video right now, that means I have tested the system, it is working, but if this video is not uploaded, that means my Sega Saturn's not working. Anyways, this is Mr. Mario, signing off. Thank you for watching, everyone.